If you're feeding your dog a dry food like this and you want to start adding healthy toppers, but you don't know where to start and you're worried your dog is going to get GI upset or diarrhea, this video is for you. Starting with one of the biggest and most common mistakes I see, which is overfeeding. Yes, you can have too much of a good thing. Over half of dogs are overweight and obese, which research shows can reduce their lifespan by up to 2 years. We're not going to add toppers to the bowl. Instead, we're going to replace a portion, typically 10 to 15% of the bowl, with healthy toppers, which I'll talk about what those are in a moment. This way, we're not missing nutrients long term, and we're at less risk of causing GI upset. Now the fun part, we get to start adding toppers to our dog's meal, but if you're just starting out adding toppers, the most important thing in my experience is only to add one new food or one new ingredient to the bowl at a time, especially for those sensitive tummy dogs. It really varies per dog, but I would do this for at least a week. And this gives our dog's digestive system time to adjust to these new additions. I have 4 things or 4 categories I try to make sure most meals have for my dog. First thing or category is something for dental health. Reason being, over the age of 3, dogs have an 80% chance of getting periodontal or dental or gum disease. And this is really important because this is hard to see with the naked eye if they have something going on with their canine teeth. A dog with dental disease, especially if untreated, can lose years off their life. The good news, it can be super easy to maintain this. 1, making sure you go to the vet regularly. 2, I do brush my dog's teeth. And 3, I add something dental health promoting to their bowl. An easy one is a raw chicken or raw duck foot. And if that grosses you out, there's a lot of brands, like this one's King Lou. I have all my favorite ones linked below. You can do an air dried chicken foot or duck foot. The bones, the cartilage, helps scrape off plaque and tartar, and it helps floss their teeth. Plus, it is rich in protein and dogs love it. Please, for the love of your dog, if you're feeding those Greenies treats or the Whimsies treats, throw them away. The ingredients are dog awful in my opinion. These ones, in my opinion, are a better option. There's a couple ingredients I don't love, but they are nice crunchy chew sticks that for dogs that are just like reliant on those Greenies, this could be a better alternative. But my favorite are gonna be more natural, single limited ingredients. Strawberries, interestingly, are rich in malic acid, which is an enzyme that naturally whitens our dog's teeth. So this is gonna be a great daily additive that's also gonna be full of antioxidants, flavonoids. And I don't know if you can really see this, but these strawberries are getting ready to kind of turn. And this is one thing I love about boosting my dog's bowl, is it doesn't always have to be super expensive and definitely does not need to be complicated. These are strawberries we bought for ourselves. We haven't eaten them quick enough, so now I'm gonna add them to my dog's food so they're not gonna go to waste, and I didn't have to buy anything extra. I will never shame you for the food that you feed your dog. If you've been following me, you know that I have fed the worst of the worst, and as I've learned from experts in the field, I've boosted and upgraded my dog's bowls over the years. That said, if you are feeding any form of kibble, it is imperative that you find a way to get some moisture in that bowl. Because of the extrusion and ultra processing cooking methods and high heat that every brand of kibble goes through, most, if not all, of the moisture is removed. And dogs are designed biologically to get their moisture from the food that they eat. A lot of dogs will not drink enough water on their own from a bowl. And this is the second thing I make sure of, is a functional hydration. So a couple easy options. You can do a pet safe bone broth. This is gonna be excellent for skin, coat, joint health. Plain coconut water, meaning the only ingredient is going to be organic coconut water, nothing else, no sugar. A little bit of this is packed with electrolytes, really good for digestive health. Or don't forget, fruits and vegetables, most of which are pet safe, I'll put a list on the screen of the ones that aren't, are 80–90% moisture and water. Meaning a lot of people will just add plain water to the bowl of kibble, which you can do, it's pretty much free. But if I'm gonna try to add some moisture to the bowl, I want it to have a functional component. Another thing that many pet foods, especially kibbles, are void of or missing is fiber. And we know that gut health equals longevity. And one of the best ways that we can help our dog's gut health, one is actually variety, feeding fresh foods, but making sure that our dogs get plenty of bioavailable fiber to help with digestion. So the third thing or category I add to my dog's bowls are sources of fiber via whole food sources whenever I can, meaning green bananas. Fun fact, green bananas are, in my opinion, superior to ripe yellow bananas. And if you can get organic, great, but if not, go green. One, it's gonna last longer. Two, there's going to be a little bit less sugar, but there's going to be more prebiotics, so it's going to be much better for digestive health. Broccoli is one of the most nutrient-dense vegetables that we can feed our dogs or ourselves, honestly. Now, there's an important way that you need to prepare this, which I'll show you in a second, but I love broccoli because it's rich in antioxidants, which helps stabilize these nasty free radicals from oxidative stress. It's rich in fiber, of course, vitamin C, so it's great for immune health, and it can be relatively affordable. Remember, a pro tip is look for frozen veggies in the freezer section. Typically they'll go on sale once or twice a quarter. That's when you can stock up. For example, I love this butternut squash that I found in the freezer section, rich in potassium, vitamin C, also rich in fiber and moisture. Or one of the most water-rich vegetables are gonna be cucumbers. I love these because they're nutrient dense, full of moisture, but I love the fact that these can be a very low calorie treat and a lot of dogs love them. And here's a huge list of pet safe fruits and vegetables that I love adding to the bowl. Again, if we're just starting out, just doing one at a time. And I've learned these things from my experience of working in the pet food industry for over 5-6 years now. My bachelor's degree is in nutrition science, and I host the only Vet Chat and Expert Talk series, which I'll link it below. You could also make it easier on yourself and just feed a fresher food diet. So big shout out to Maeve for sponsoring this part of the video. If you've been following me, you know that I'm a big fan of their food. It's a delivery raw food that, and this is very rare, is 100% human grade, meaning it's made with only ingredients that are fit for human consumption, not feed grade, which most pet foods are, which are foods that are unfit for human consumption. This is also not ultra processed. It's completely raw, but it serves just like a kibble. So for people that are nervous to kind of jump to the gently cooked or raw food category, this is literally a scoop and serve food. I will have a special offer for you in the description or my website at RachelFusaro.com on my dog food list. I've also had an opportunity to meet the founder, ask them the hard questions about how they source their ingredients, their recipes, and to be honest, I've been really impressed with them. Here, you're getting whole food, real food, fiber-rich, moisture-rich food that you can actually see. So they have green beans, and there's actual pieces of kale, blueberries, zucchini. They already add fish oil, so you're gonna have a healthy amount of omegas. And then for dental health, one of the best things we can do for our dog's dental health is feeding them a fresher food diet. All kibbles, and again, I'm not kibble shaming, this is just a fact. The way that they make them shelf stable and make them those little crunchy nuggets is by packing them full of starchy carbohydrates. Most kibbles are 40, 50, 60% carbohydrates. Carbohydrates can convert into simple sugars and can promote plaque and tartar buildup. I mean, there's a reason I've had Maeve on my dog food list for probably 2 years now. And I love the fact that it just saves you time. A lot of us, money is important and finding things that are affordable is obviously very important, but also convenience and the ability to just take something to be able to feel good about it is something I really love. So I will have this linked in my shop page on my dog food list at RachelFusaro.com. A healthy fat source rich in omega-3 is important for anti-inflammation, skin and coat health, brain health, and it's something that a lot of foods are missing, especially these ultra processed kibbles, because once you open that bag of kibble, the fats start to oxidize, making it less bioavailable. So I like to add a healthy fat source, ideally something rich in omega-3, of course. So this is one that I'm using right now. This is another option I'll use for my other dogs, this omega oil. It has a variety of fish. So you've got wild caught pollock oil and wild caught salmon oil. So you have a nice variety. Here are some other options for healthy fat sources, specifically ones that are rich in healthy omega-3, which is essential and something that dogs cannot make on their own. So they have to get it from their diet, which is why I make sure it's one of my top 4 things I add to the bowl. A lot of vegetables need to be processed some way before we give it to our dogs so they can actually digest it. We need to steam it, lightly saute it, cook it, roast it. So I'm gonna take a little bit of coconut oil here, make sure it's organic, virgin, raw, put it on like a low medium heat, and I'm just gonna cut up a couple pieces of broccoli to put on here. I'm not a chef by any means, by the way, so take how I do this with a grain of salt. You just want to make sure. You could even do a food processor. It's funny that when I cook, it's really rarely just for me. I'm like, oh, I could cook some vegetables for my dogs. I'll just cook extra and have some for me too. Is anybody else like that? By the way, if you're enjoying this content, it would mean a lot to me if you would click that subscribe button, click that like button, and turn on your notifications. And I have an entire shop page where I've listed all my favorite toys, bowls, supplements, foods, you name it, it's on there. There's 1,000 at this point. We have the broccoli cooked, so we're gonna, and I let it cool down a little bit. So we're just gonna put that in here. I also have a vet-approved meal topper guide. If you like to read instead of just watching videos, it is completely free. It's on my website, RachelCaraFusaro.com, and I'll link it down below in the description or link in bio. Now, make sure you share this video because more dogs need to eat bowls like this. I mean, look how pretty this is. It doesn't always have to be pretty, by the way. I only made it pretty for you guys so you can kind of see and get some inspiration. Now, I'd love to talk about how to make your dog's food at home DIY. Click the video right here and we'll talk about that together. Or if you want to learn even more about raw dog food and the benefits of it, click the video right here. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.